So there's an old adage, a penny saved is a penny earned, and the gentleman to my left knows all about that, an illustrious career in trying to save government agencies and companies money. We're with Steve Clayborn of Salamis Consulting. How are you today?
Thank you, Neil. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, great to have you, and I'm sure everyone's interested who runs a small business in our economy on how to save money. What type of training do you provide for small and larger businesses?
One of the key things that I want everybody to get out of this is when you enter into any agreement or start talking to anybody to buy anything, negotiation is the key, because every penny that you can save in negotiation goes directly to your bottom line. And that doesn't matter whether you are a company that is negotiating a contract or you're trying to buy a pair of shoes, a car, or anything else. Every penny that you can save there is a penny that you can use somewhere else.
I will remember that when I negotiate with my promotional products person.
Please do it. And one thing, you can negotiate everything.
That's really great to know. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Now, Steve has been in purchasing and contract management for more than 30 years, worked and lived in 4 continents, and retired military office with government contract training. Share with us a little bit about your experience with government contracts. For instance, at what level did you work with the government?
Well, with the government, I started off as a logistics officer at Fort Gordon.
Okay.
And this was way back when they had Pan Am World Services providing their base operation services. And that was the first contract that the Army had used for base operations. But because of that, I got interested in government contracts. And through the support and sponsorship of the contracting officer there, they sent me to most of my schools to be a contracting officer before I ever became a contracting officer in that career field.
What type of industries did you help, I guess, with negotiation and contracts?
Well, now there's a difference between the government contracts that I helped do and then the commercial contracts. On the government side, I guess probably the best one that we did or the most interesting was a $700 million contract with Homeland Security.
Wow.
And that's when they first started up, so there was a lot of turbulence. The contracting officer for the government literally changed almost once a year, and sometimes once every 6 months. So there was a lot of chaos and everything else dealing on the government side, and the people on the contracting side had to adjust to that.
Wow.
And so they brought us in to help manage it because they had lost $1 million plus on a cost reimbursement contract, which is almost unheard of.
Wow. We're continuing to speak with Steve Clayborn, who's semi-retired. He now owns a consulting company called Salamis. A couple of ways for you to get in touch with him, just to have a sit-down chat and consultation. You can email him, Stephen with a V, Clayborn at salamis.io, or you can reach him on his personal extension at 706-830-1220. Now, I know how serious it was with Homeland Security and golly, after 9/11 and just trying to work through all those contracts. But you also had a fun experience as well out west.
Yeah. In fact, my wife accused me of this was the beginning of her gambling addiction that she blamed on me because we had a client that wanted us to develop a marketing plan for a brand new casino that they were building in Las Vegas. So I spent almost 3 weeks in Las Vegas doing nothing but going from one casino to the next, talking to their marketing people to understand how the casino markets, what their margins are, how things work behind the scene. And since she went out there with me and I was so busy, naturally she had to visit the one-armed bandit and pull that slot machine.
When in Rome, you do as the Romans do, I
as
suppose.
the Romans do.
I'm curious, what were a couple of the takeaways in terms of the advice that you gave to the casinos?
Well, the one thing about it is after we developed everything, we came to the firm conclusion that they don't need to build a new casino.
Okay.
So that was our recommendation back to them, is not to build a new casino, but if they wanted to get into the casino business, to go ahead and buy one of the existing ones that was out there.
Gotcha.
It was much more cost effective, and they could get it going in a lot quicker time frame.
And again, a penny saved is a penny earned indeed. So specifically, what would Salamis do, and how do you suppose you might be able to help a small business watching?
Okay. If you're looking for on the purchasing side, one of the things that we can do, depending on the size of your business, if you're a very small business, we can help you to understand what your supply chain is, where you get your supplies from, what the risks and liabilities are, and then how to mitigate that. If you're say a medium-sized business with a purchasing department and so forth, we can sit down and basically do an analysis of your purchasing department and come back and tell you, here are the shortfalls that you need, here are the positive things that you have, and here's what you need to do to fix it.
So you get paid if you help save clients money?
Only if I can save them money. Because if I can't save them money, I don't need to be there.
That's like a no risk opportunity.
Almost a no risk
Almost
opportunity.
no risk. Yeah, that's fantastic. Now you've come up with I was about to say analogy. That's the wrong word. An acronym. It's called BATNA. BATNA. What is it, and how do you use this in negotiation?
Okay. I did not create that. Okay. That was created by some professors at Harvard's program on negotiation.
Gotcha.
Back in the 90s. And it came to fruition basically through the book Getting to Yes. But basically your BATNA is your best alternative to a negotiated solution or a negotiated agreement. So it boils down to, what are you going to do if you cannot reach an agreement on this contract or this negotiation that you're going to do?
Okay.
What are your alternatives? Now, the reason that you need to know that is, number one, if you cannot reach agreement, you need to know what you're going to do. You also have a game plan basically for what you have to do in order to do that. During the lead up to negotiation, you can help strengthen your BATNA and weaken the other side's BATNA basically. But basically, it's a psychological tool that you can use on yourself, because once you know what your BATNA is, you know, I don't have to accept this agreement. I can get up and walk away.
Right.
It prevents you from becoming emotionally involved in the negotiation and then entering into an agreement that after you walk out, you go, oh my gosh, why in the world did I agree to that?
So, real world example, if someone out there is trying to hire someone and they only have $40,000 a year in their budget to hire someone, and the person says, I have to have at least 45. What do you?
Well, it boils down to, okay, what if you're on the employer side? Okay, is this person the best fit? Do I absolutely have to hire this person? Is that the only one that can fit my requirements?
Right.
If not, you can negotiate with somebody else.
Sometimes you just have to walk away.
Sometimes you have to walk away. Now, on the other side, if you're the employee and you're trying to get hired, the question is how far do I push the negotiation before they finally say, you know something, it's nice knowing you, but I think we'll pursue our activities somewhere else. If that happens, what are you going to do? Okay. Do you have an alternative that you can go to somebody else and start working with them? Or have you been out of work for 6 months and this is the best deal that you can get?
Gotcha.
So then you know, okay, this is what I have to have, so here's what I need to agree to.
And real quick, Steve, what would be the first consultation like if someone were to sit with you and they're with a company and they're just trying to save money? How does that go?
The best thing that they can do is when they come in is to have a firm understanding of how their company works, okay, and what their objectives are to get out of it. Just, I don't want to save money is not an objective.
Okay.
That's an after the fact, so to speak. You want to come in and we'll sit down with you, and we encourage our client, at least especially with the first consultation, to do most of the talking, because we can't do a good analysis and provide solutions to you unless we know how your business works. And then once we do that, what are the objectives you want to get out of it?
Excellent.
And then we can tell you whether those objectives are reasonable or whether we think, maybe that's not a good objective. Let's rethink the issue. And sometimes the objectives or what you think the problem is not actually that problem.
And that's how you learn in the assessment consultation phase. And the best way to get started is to reach Steve via telephone at 706-830-1220 or via email, Stephen with a V. Clayborn at salamis.lo. Excuse me. A penny saved is a penny earned.
Yep,
and
definitely.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Same here, Neil. Thanks for inviting me.
Continued success in working your way into or out of semi-retirement.
It gives me something to keep me occupied.
Excellent.
And out of trouble.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.